Learn stories of success, avoid struggles they've met. Doctors of all kind come together to help you shine. So sit back, take it in, and integrate what you've been given on a doctor's perspective.net.
Episode 155, Mobile Mom Chiropractic. I'm your host, Dr. Justin Trosclair, and today we're Dr. Bethany, Buryta's Perspective. Join 2017 and 18 Podcast Awards nominated host and best-selling author on Amazon as we get a behind-the-curtain look at all types of doctor and guest specialties. Let's hear a doctor's perspective. Thank you so much for listening to the show. Today we talked to Dr. Bethany, who is a mobile chiropractor. After being an associate in 3 different states, you will find tips for new grads, why she uses Chiro Health and Jane app, how to utilize Amazon commissions to make a little extra cash, the power of Instagram, and more things you probably would like to know about a mother of 2 who is forced to homeschool while also doing mobile chiropractic. So this falls right in line with some of the other mobile health that we've done in cash practices, because she is cash practice. If you check the show notes page, you'll find books that she likes, as well as some of the episodes that you might be interested in as a follow-up. So just check the show notes at a doctorsperspective.net/155. Self-plug, 2 of them, 16 different ways you hold chopsticks. If you're ever interested in I'm not good at holding them, what do I do? Go to doctorsperspective.net/chopsticks and get the PDF. It is a companion to the China Dinner Culture book. And the coloring book that is trilingual and animals that are not as common in kids' coloring books is on its way. It's not quite done, but it's so much closer than it was in the past. So definitely just check Amazon with my name and you maybe can find it. So lastly, leave a review, 5 stars if you can, or on the top right of the webpage is all the social media links you can handle. Find one, DM me, let me know what your thoughts are, and that way I can improve the show for you, the listeners. Let's go hashtag behind the curtain. Live from Germany and Rochester, New York, today on the show, we've got a great guest. She's been out nearly a decade. She is in New York, which during COVID-19 is really, seems like it's being shut down. And she was a mobile chiropractor. So did she actually get shut down? And she's transitioned into some telehealth business. So that's pretty cool. Some Amazon. And she's going to have some good information about EHR and some other programs that she's found vital to her clinic. So please welcome Dr. Bethany Buryta.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having me, Doc.
You betcha. Well, the biggest thing you can say is no need to be nervous. It's our first podcast, y'all. So we're excited to have her.
Take it easy on me.
That's right. To jump in is your first full year almost of mobile. So you were doing associateships and things like that before. So instead of doing the whole why chiropractic, what happened during the associates, probably taking insurance, doing that whole thing, and then now saying, let's go cash and let's go mobile?
Yeah, I was about 8 years into practice, several associateships. I've been licensed in 3 states. So I started out practicing in downtown Chicago, in Wicker Park in Illinois. I was there a couple of years, credentialed with insurance and all that fun stuff. My husband's job relocated us to Michigan, so we were in Metro Detroit for another couple of years, where I also practiced as an associate. And then we recently, been almost a year and a half, almost 2 years now, that we've been in upstate Western New York, where I grew up, closer to where I grew up. I'm not from Rochester. I'm from south of here in the Finger Lakes, but we moved out here to be closer to family, and I decided when we were in Michigan that I was ready. I didn't want to work for anyone else anymore, and that I was ready to take on my own practice, my own private practice. So I'm currently within the first year. I saw my first patient in June of 2019 in my mobile practice. So I offer in-home and on-site care to my patients. It's unique. It's a unique service to offer in my area. We've got NYCC, a chiropractic college, about an hour east of here. And so it's very saturated with a lot of good chiropractors. So, I had written my business plan out almost 2 years ago, the big multidisciplinary dream clinic that I've always wanted. And I just was like, I can't just move here and, set up and expect not knowing anyone to, be able to, make it work. I just got creative. It was an idea I'd heard online. My mother-in-law had mentioned, why don't you go offer, when I moved to New York and I initially got licensed, I had a friend and she was having some rib pain. And I said, well, I'll just bring my table and come over. And that was kind of how this idea was birthed. It gives me the flexibility to create my own schedule. I had stayed at home for about a year and a half when we decided to move to New York, doing all this back-end webinars, business work, business development. But I was a stay-at-home mom. And so I've really enjoyed having that lifestyle of being there for my kids and, going and volunteering in their classrooms. And I wanted to be able to maintain that while also being a chiropractor and serving patients and, living my dream. And
student loans don't pay themselves, huh?
Yeah, it's also true.
So, okay. Was there anything about an associateship? We'll kind of go here and then we'll transition to other things. Red flags that other new docs should look out for, whether it's bonus structures or work hours or things we should look out for?
Oh, I am very, I'm like a perfectionist. So I'm always, I'm looking at every angle and I want to know all the information before I make a decision. And so I would say the biggest thing with me, every time I went into an interview or I met someone or I was networking, just to be authentic, like be yourself. Don't try to fit this mold. Like they want someone that's there 7 days a week going out on marketing events. They want this and that. Like if that's not you and that's not a goal that or something that's a stepping stone to get you to your ultimate goals, like don't pretend and don't play. Just be yourself. You'll find that match. There are so many chiropractors and there's so many different styles and techniques and philosophies that you gotta, if you're gonna do an associateship, you really have to make sure it aligns with your values and what you're trying to accomplish in life. So that would be my piece of advice.
So join the straight chiropractor when you really want to do rehab. Like it's just,
yeah.
And that's just like your skills are just that bad coming out of school. You're just like, I need to learn how to adjust.
Right. Right. Yeah. Don't feel desperate. Cause I mean, we went through a lot to get this degree, and then you got to get certified to take 4 sets of boards, depending on what state you're practicing. And then you got to get licensed. Like it's not, just don't play around, just be yourself and be who you are. And that's how you're going to serve your patients best. That's how you're going to make your boss money.
Yeah. And this mobile thing. So you're going to people's houses. Are you working out of a van? Or do you go into their house? Like, there's options there.
I know. I've seen, I used to have this dream of having my short bus that I would drive around and, be like, oh, there's Dr. B on her short bus, and put a table in there and therapies and whatever. But no, right now I have a couple bags. I have some equipment. I do some therapies on patients, pregnant patients. I mean, I've got all these pillows and supports but yeah, I'm able to log my miles. I've got an app. I'll hop in my car, log the miles, get to the patient's house, and then it's go time. You set up usually in a living room. I've been in a bathroom.
All right.
It's been interesting. It's been fun, but it's interesting because I love to travel and I love to see new places, and being mobile, not just from a perspective of I'm not tied down to anything, but I'm able to see patients' homes and their ergonomic stations. Where are they sitting with their computer doing work? What is their sleeping posture like? Is their mattress, supportive enough? People ask all the time about pillows and just say, well, let me see your pillow. You can't do that in an office setting. So it makes it really accessible to patients, and it's real. So
is it weird? Is it ever, especially as a female, let's just be honest, there's some weirdos out there, but if you're dealing with a lot of pregnant ladies, you're probably not going to have that as much of an issue there. But
right. How
do you protect yourself? And is it just awkward going into people's homes if they're like pack rats, or how does that play out?
Oh my gosh. Yeah. No. So when I designed this practice, like from the jump, I knew that safety was an important thing for me. I have my husband, we use Google Maps. It's super easy. So I just share my location with him all the time, and he can track me where I'm at. He'll see me, and, we've got our little safe word and all that. If I'm in trouble. I definitely plan on taking some self-defense courses too in the future. I mean, that was like on board. That was my goal for the spring, but obviously that's not going to happen. And then
it's the taser.
Another way I designed the taser.
This is E-stim on the next level.
Oh my gosh, yes. Get out this electrical stim tool for you. No, but I also designed the practice. So the biggest thing is that it's mostly by referral only. So it's people that I know and trust, or that I have someone that I know who has vouched for another person. I have had some of my best patients come from Instagrams. They're strangers, but they're on social media, so you can stalk them and you can make sure it's not going to be a situation that
your Instagram is legit,
safe.
By the way. It looked like so much
you.
planning. Like her Instagram, when you see it, she doesn't have a ton of posts, and you can see why, because everything is super planned out. Probably took, I don't know how long it took to build all of that. So it's definitely not something like mine where, let's throw a picture of this, let's throw a picture of that. Like, it's super guided, it's informational, it's got a good layout.
Aww, yeah, thank you. I'm glad you like it. I try really hard. I put a lot of time and attention into it. Like I said, because I get some of my best patients and referrals from Instagram. And it's an artistic outlet for me too. I love taking photos. I've used Instagram since 2013, 2012 or something. So, I enjoy it. It's fun for me. It's opened so many doors too, because I mean, local networking, collaborations. I've got now, I get like 5 emails and DMs a day that people are like, we want you to represent our wellness brand. And it's cool, because then you can share that info, and patients can, I don't have to even touch or ever see someone, but can help them with diet and exercise and at-home recommendations.
When we're doing Instagram for local, are there any tips so that we can appear more to our local crowd, like using certain hashtags, or do you have any kind of strategy?
I just had this question. I do. I'm a Young Living independent distributor too, and we were on a call just the other night, and someone asked me this, and hashtags are huge for me. I had one post that 6,000 of the views out of the 7,000 interactions or engagements it had. It was from the hashtags that I use. Wow. So it was incredible, and I had no idea. And even in stories, I posted a hashtag. Maybe it was like pregnant or baby or something, and that it just went nuts. So, and it's just I'm just trial and error, seeing what works. I've got some groups that I work with. I've got this little Chiro pod that, we support each other and we like each other's stuff and comment. And that's been really awesome for growth. And, and then we chat about, how today on the group chat, it was, how's everyone handling COVID? What are you doing to keep yourself in a positive mindset? So, finding those, everyone says find your tribe, find your online tribe too, because that's really important, at least for my business and growing it and putting the info out there.
Wonderful. When we're talking the mobile chiropractic, you're in their house, you're delivering a treatment. How long is this taking? Because sometimes I'll think about it, I'm like, I really want to do this. And I'm like, well, you're pretty limited. So either the price is high, or maybe y'all don't spend as much time as I think you do, and you cluster your area at a time. How does that play out?
Great question. So this is one of the things that I enjoy most about being my own boss. Now, when I was an associate, I remember I was in a room, and one of the first patients of the day, I was booked out 40 people that day. So when you fall behind, you get, it's
no lunch.
Painful for everyone. Yes. Yeah. I had someone knocking on the door, one of the CAs, and they were like, you've been in there 7 minutes. You got to get out onto the next one. And everyone, my whole career has always told me I'm too slow and I take too long with patients. And I'm like, well, F that. Now I'm my own boss, and I spend my visits, my first visit is 60 to 90 minutes. And I go home and I do the note and I do follow up and nutritional recommendations and at-home exercise. I mean, it takes me even more time to put together my report of findings. So I spend a lot of time with patients. I know for a fact my postpartum pregnancy visit is the longest, and that's like 90 minutes. I've timed it from the time I get to the patient's door till the time I leave their door. So that's not even including the commute, which Rochester, anywhere you can get in 15, 20 minutes. So that's not a big of a deal. But I feel like I have the time now to help, like actually help patients and see them as little as possible, because that's the goal, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like you don't want to be someone who's like 3 times a week for the rest of your life. You want to have the tools to enable yourself to be healthy at home. So, I mean, I do a ton of stuff. The chiropractic adjustment, I mean, if it was someone I knew well, it takes me 5 minutes.
Right.
You know, I know your spine. But I'm able now to do, I mean, we do health and wellness goal setting, pain management instructions, ADLs, activity modifications. I do nutritional consults. We talk about supplementations, recommendations. We talk about sleep and work ergonomics. Do a posture picture. It's digital. Like I just.
So when you're doing this, is it a flat rate per like 30 minutes or an hour? Is that how you bill instead of per service?
Yeah. So I just, I'm cash and private pay only. So I don't accept insurance. I don't credential with them. I did in Michigan and Illinois, not. That was an easy decision not to credential here. But I take payment at the time of service, and it's my new patient fee and then my established patient fee. And I just kind of...
Whether it's 30 minutes or an hour, it's going to be the same fee. It just depends on what needs to be done.
Yeah. And sometimes it's like a follow-up can be anywhere from 40 to 60 minutes, depending on, we've been under care for 3 months and this was just a maintenance visit and we're just getting you on to the next, season of life.
Mm-hmm. With mobile, do you do once a week or is it twice a week max? How's that play out?
Depends. Treatment plans are tricky because if I am providing an hour worth of care, you don't need 3 visits a week. Where if you were in a traditional chiropractic setting, it'd be like 5 minutes 3 times a week. So you get 15 minutes of care versus my hours.
Maybe some active care in the back half.
Right. That being said, I mean, just a couple months ago before all this, I had a hot low back patient. I saw her every day and then every other day until she could stand up straight again, so it's case by case. Have some infants that with developmental issues that maybe take a little more time and attention. Mm-hmm. It just depends.
Yeah. It seems like nobody does that in mobile. It seems to be once a week, maybe twice a week. Because if you're booked out too, it's not that easy to get back to that person's house because you only got so many hours per day. Unless you're going to be open all the time. Like some people, I was talking to, I think it was Jen Faber, one of the episodes. She ended up realizing pretty quick. She's like, man, I'm working more hours than necessary. And then she was like, I got to pull it back. I'm not working this time of the day or that time of the day. And that's just how it is. Like my schedule is now my own. Because otherwise people are like, well, can you just come after work? You're like, well, it's kind of the point was to come during work. I mean, obviously if they're not working. Right. But to make it more accessible, and not, you don't want to work till 8:00 at night every night either.
Well, right. And that's, and that's why my schedule, it's by appointment only. And I base my schedule off my husband's because when I did the associateship, that was always the problem was that I'm like the last mom there to pick up my kids from daycare. And like the first one to drop them off, the last one there. And it got really hard for us to manage as a family. So now I just design, like my husband's in the emergency department. Sometimes he's like nights, evenings, but I just open it up when he's home. We don't have to figure out who's going to raise our kids because it's just us. And it gives me the flexibility, like, it's a Sunday evening here at 4:00 in Rochester, and I could open up my schedule and go see someone because he's home with the kids, so I'm available 7 days a week, but, within my
right.
Hours and schedule. And that has really worked for our family, so.
Patient, can I always have this time on Tuesday? You're like, actually, no.
I do have a couple lady. That, it is, but as much as I can accommodate, I try to be flexible and there for people. And
now, You use something called Chiro Health. Now, when I was in practice in Colorado, at least back then, it was something set up to where if you had cash patients, but you were in network with insurance, you're not supposed to have different fees, but we all like to usually reduce fees for cash patients. So there was a program there to be able to offer a legitimate discount. I don't know what phrase they use. Legally they have some phrase like, we're not a cash rate, we're a membership plan, or whatever the crap they want to call themselves so that they don't get sued by the insurance companies. So whatever that is, disclaimer, how are they now and why would you use it as a cash practice since you don't have to deal with the insurances coming back and saying we want money?
Right. I struggled for probably, I still struggle with my fee schedule sometimes, we all know what we feel like we're our value and what we're worth and what we should charge and what our time is worth and all that. And this is a concierge type service, not every.
Yeah, it should be expensive. We should not be charging $40, which is less than what a chiropractor would probably charge in office. And you're visiting and doing commuting and missing work and all that.
Right. So, I struggle because I am a mom. I know that healthcare is expensive and I wanted it to be affordable for my patients. So I struggled with, who do I discount? How do I discount? How much? Is that ethical? Am I going to violate some sort of, laws because the fee scheduling when you're credentialed with insurance, it makes it very difficult to
right.
get paid and get paid a fair rate. So when I think I found Chiro Health through their webinars. They put on really good webinars. At some point, I thought I just need to call them up. It's free for chiropractors to use. But what I found through all of my research and through talking with Heather, my rep there, it gave me the ability to offer discount membership plans for families, and it covers legal dependents. It allows me to give those family discounts, but I'm still able to maintain compliance at a lower cost. And then for people who have non-covered services. So It's like a Costco membership. You pay, the patient pays $49 a month. It covers all of their dependents. And then I'm able to offer for the year. Yep. And I'm able to offer that discount and extend that. So, because that was one thing, at the time when I started it, I was charging $200 for my new patient visit. And, I think it was like a family of 6. It was like a very large family. A mom inquire about, getting care. And I'm like, this is robbery. I cannot
Well, each exam is worth it, but good grief, $1,200 in one day.
Right. Yeah. And I was like, there's got to be a better way, but I am not a numbers person. I don't. So I was like, very grateful when I connected with Chiro Health USA because, just a couple of calls on the phone, a couple of emails, and we got a fee schedule that I'm comfortable with. I feel like I'm going to get, reimbursed what I deserve. I feel like it's fair for patients to pay this amount, and it's helpful to discount the way that I do.
Are they allowed, or do you provide some kind of bill so they can submit to their insurance? How's that play out?
Yeah. So being cash, you think that it's just going to, pay with money, but I'm able to accept HSA and FSA for payments.
Really?
I just code. I use the CPT and ICD-10 codes that I would normally. And then JNAP, my EHR, gives me the ability to provide a super bill to patients so that I would collect payment at the time of service and then provide them with a super bill, and then they can go to their insurance company, and if they have benefits, they'll get reimbursed directly.
I guess I never asked that question with any other people. I never really thought about it. So all the patients that you see could say, hey, can I get a itemized bill so I can see if I get reimbursed? Are you allowed, or do you know if you could say, no, it's not allowed because I'm not spending an official 8 minutes doing myofascial release. I might have spent 6 and then now it's getting tricky. Or maybe I spent 35, but they're only going to charge you for 1. You know what I mean? Because rehab can take a while, but there's all those time codes.
Right.
I don't know. I don't know what the answer is.
Well, and that's exactly why I don't credential with insurance. In Michigan, you could I love doing therapeutic rehab and exercises and kinesio taping and all the things that take time, and none of the insurance want to pay for it, and it's helpful to patients. I don't what I would do, I mean, I would just charge for what I charge and encourage the patient. Like, you may have benefits, you may not. You may have chiropractic adjustment only, and they make only, I don't know New York state laws, but sometimes, you would only get reimbursed for a pain code or whatever it is. I don't have to question that. I'll get paid. And then if they have coverage, and if I start using stim or Graston or other techniques in my practice and their insurance covers it, I mean, I'll code it and I can supply that to them. But after that, I hate the fact that insurance can dictate what they think the patient needs, what they're going to help pay for. Because patients are paying the premiums. Like, they're the ones that are paying into this insurance. So, and they're more likely, if they get a super bill and they want coverage and they call up, the insurance company is going to want to give their consumer, their money back. They're not going to give the chiropractor.
Because we definitely can say, hey, I charge $150 for, an hour or an appointment. And that might take between 30 minutes to an hour, some kind of range. Because I was talking to one guy, Jared Carter, I think it was him, or maybe it was LaBar, but they were talking about, they used to do an hour, but then sometimes they're like, yeah, I'm kind of done with you. It's 27 minutes into your hour. You paid for an hour. Either I have to either say, hey, cool, it's only half the rate, and then I'm lost 30 minutes to the next patient. Mm-hmm. Or you have to figure something out so that they, quote, get their hour. And either way, you kind of feel icky on the inside. So they just, I guess they changed it to like, it's just, this is the rate. And my point, I guess, is if you just say, hey, it's $150, boom, you still need to document everything you've done that visit. But that's different than breaking it down per code so that they can try and get reimbursed. But that's why we're not lawyers. So consult your lawyers, consult your chiropractic board, and maybe find some help with some of these very strong particulars. That way you don't get in trouble. Because I'm guessing if you called Blue Cross and said, hey, I want to be a provider, you could probably find someone that can answer some of these questions.
Oh yeah, it's so convoluted. I can't keep up with the insurance companies. Like, I'm just so happy that I have it. Every now and then, I think just the early part of 2020 alone, I turned away 5 patients that, was like, do you don't take insurance? I'm like, sorry, it's just, I can't.
Well, if Jane App, we're going to ask about Jane App. If Jane App wants to sponsor the program, let me know. But for now, they're not. What is it about them that you like? Because I know there's lots of different programs. I know I interviewed the one that I like the most. What do you think sealed the deal for new doctors that are coming out?
Yeah. So one thing with the mobile practice is that I knew I wanted to be virtual, online, like able to move anywhere. And Jane App has given me the ability to do that. I am able to offer online scheduling, payments online. Patients can do their intake forms from their smartphone, their tablet, their computer, in bed, on the toilet. I don't care. Like, it's so convenient. It's safe, secure, HIPAA compliant. And with everything going on recently, I've had the ability to, I had telehealth capabilities. When all this hit, I mean, they hit the ground running and they had so much support.
So can you just use them directly instead of like Skype or Doxy?
Yeah, I just had someone earlier this week and they scheduled on my platform like you would a regular in-person appointment. And then about an hour before the call, you have the ability to turn it on and sync and test all the stuff. And then we hopped on the call and it's, like I said, secure, HIPAA compliant. Huh. And no additional cost to me as a Jane user. Wow. I mean, they had tons of webinars, allied sessions, these educational sessions going on right now that are awesome, that are just, informative for whether you're a Jane user or not. I think it's free for Jane users. I get an email. I missed a couple of them, but then I get an email later that says, here's the replay. Yeah. And it's been a great resource. It just made it really easy to like pivot during this time because I don't know. I'd go crazy if I was just on phone call.
Do they process through like PayPal or Stripe, or how do they actually set up payments?
I believe it's Stripe. My patients go on. I require that a credit card is on file to book an appointment with me. You can also set up so that you can charge like $50 just to reserve the spot. I don't do that. I just have a credit card on file, and that can be credit card or your HSA, FSA, and that's it.
Wow, so easy.
Makes it really simple. Yeah.
Yeah. Let me ask you about this. Amazon. We had talked pre-talk about different avenues to make money. And like, that's why we have this random list of questions that we have compared to say the normal flow of the interview. But I think we've hit all the points if you stuck around this long. So I had a store once upon a time with Amazon, and I had all the books that podcast guests would recommend and my own stuff that I recommended, yada, yada. They click a link, and then if they buy it, you get a commission. But then they're like, hey, the stores are done. And now you just put links and all that. So how are you working that to get affiliates? How's that look?
Yeah. So originally when I learned about it, it was the Amazon influencer. And that is when you have like a social media account that you have X amount of followers, and then you can create your own store and have the swipe up and all that. And so that one was when I originally learned about it. And then as I was, digging deeper into research, this was, over a year ago. This has been like a dream of mine making to put this store together. And I found, I can't remember if it's Amazon Associate or Amazon Affiliate. And I had applied. I think I got denied because I didn't have enough of something followers or whatever. I don't know. But finally, I got accepted. And then you had, 90 days to make a sale or something. And I just I could not figure out how to get it on my website. It's been very complicated for me.
Did you have to have online checkout on your own page?
Yeah. So, I found now I think I've mostly figured it out where I have a presence online. From a clinical setting, and as a chiropractor, that we make recommendations for durable medical equipment and things people can use at home.
I'm sure there's tons of stuff that you're recommending. Here, buy this, buy this, buy this.
Yeah. So over the 9 years that I was in associate practice, I just gathered up all the products that I knew were reliable, that I could use, that we had talked to reps at convention or seminar or whatever. I found them on Amazon, and then I just created links to my store. And so like you mentioned, someone clicks on that link, and then I get a little piece of the pie, and
it's very little people.
It's very,
it's almost not
tiny.
worth the time unless you have a high volume of sales. It's not like Russell Brunson or something where you get $200 for someone buying a program. It's nothing like that.
Right. And so, and that's on my end, but from the patient perspective, I know that I'm not, if I'm telling you need a Sorolla SI joint belt, I know this is there's research behind it. It helps with people with SI joint dysfunction. I tell someone that the message gets convoluted. They don't put it in right. They don't have the right size. I'm able to send them. I say, go to my website, click on this link. This is what it's called.
Do not buy the generic.
Yeah. Well, I recommend a Therapeutica pillow a ton, and it's helped a lot of patients. And it's sized. It's a pillow that's sized to your cervical spine, so that if you're a back or side sleeper, it's going to help with that curve in your neck, right? So I'll size the patient, and then I'll be like, go here, make sure you do this. But it's not like they're just going to Amazon and typing in and getting the wrong thing, and then they're hurting themselves because they don't have the right pillow.
I bought a lacrosse ball.
Yeah.
The actual sport ball. No, that's not what you should have bought. You needed to buy this ball. You're like, oh, well, I got confused. Don't leave it up to them sometimes.
Right. So it makes it easy because everything is there. And I know that patients are getting what they need when I direct them there.
Great. I like that. I talked to somebody. They said when they were doing mobile, they would just have the patient buy a massage bed for $99. And he's like, I don't care what you do with it when you're done, but it's yours, and I'm not traveling with these anymore. And I was like, whoa.
Wow.
I was like, well, hey.
I actually, before all this happened, I had a patient that was referred to me by a massage therapist, and he was like, it was his first visit. At the end of it, he's like, if this is going to be something, because I'm like, next visit, we'll go over your report of findings. I'll give you a treatment plan. We'll get you all set up. We'll get you taken care of. And he said, if this is going to be regular, can I just buy you a table? He had a massage table at his home that he bought for his massage therapist that does in home. And I'm like, all right, go ahead. But, buy me a new table. I would just really appreciate that. And
if you would like to buy a Thule with drops, maybe I could get it to you on 50% off when we're done.
I'm on Thule that night. Like, oh my God, it's like all the bells and whistles, like $4,000 later. No, that wouldn't be fair, but
that's really what you want to get. I'll split that 2080 for you. Oh man. Do you need any staff? Or could you see that you could potentially use someone to orchestrate your appointments or your schedule? Or like, look, I only work the north side of town on Mondays and this place on Tuesdays. Or do you just travel all over? When or how could you potentially need a staff person? Virtual for that matter.
Yeah. I've thought about this a little bit because my husband and I were trying to expand our family. And, I thought, how am I going to do that? I have 2 kids now. So I know, like, how am I going to cart around this 50-pound table, 8-9 months pregnant? That being said, also, I've always loved and enjoyed working in teams. So like the more people, the better, like very social. And now that I'm my own boss and I'm only responsible for me, I just really don't want anyone else around right now. It's been nice. It's been nice having autonomy to do, my thing. But I think, if we do, if I was pregnant, I think then I would need maybe some support. I definitely still, I love the in-home treatment aspect, but I still want, my big clinic eventually. So I think once my schedule is totally booked to the brim with house calls, I think that would be the time to think about expanding to an office setting with receptionist and adding an assistant and, all.
You can always rent space from somebody else too, where you're, once a week, I just have a physical location and I work there 5 hours a day once a week. And then once that gets crazy, you start, because all of a sudden you go from some gas to crap, 5,000 overhead at least. You're like, whoa. Yeah. Before we jump into the more personal side of the interview, anything that you think we missed that you definitely wanted to cover?
The only other thing, because I was just kind of thinking of topics that, like, how could I help other doctors with, when across the board, are you essential, non-essential? Can you practice? Are you comfortable going out? One piece that has really helped my practice grow in the past year that can be done totally online, virtual, is my full script online dispensary that I utilize. So like I mentioned, I do quite a bit of nutrition, talk about, diet, but then also like, where are you lacking and where can we support, your nutrition better? And that the online dispensary has been awesome. It's the same thing as Amazon affiliate. I offer drop shipping, so I don't carry any stock.
Like Douglas Labs or Metagenics, those types of brands.
Yes, yeah, Claire Labs. It's all medical grade, third party tested, prescription only. So you have to have an account through me. I'll give you a recommendation. I can consult. I've got HIPAA compliant email and my phone number and then the telehealth capabilities. So I could talk all day about, what could you be taking right now to support immunity or I was really nervous about this podcast. I took an ashwagandha before I got on just to mellow me out a little bit. So little things like that. But the full script has been awesome because like right now the product gets delivered straight to the door. I'm able to offer discounts. I went in there and, I just set up an ongoing discount for COVID so that people have access to affordable, like top of the line supplements to help support health and wellness.
Mm-hmm. Very good. Yeah. I think I use, what is it? Emerson.
Is it Wellevate?
Yeah, Wellevate with Emerson Ecologics. I like, I use like Douglas Labs, and then every now and then you find some other products that you kind of need to mix in there. Mm-hmm. And then I saw Emerson, and they always have good or the same prices, but they offer all these different brands, just like the same thing. So yeah, I have the same kind of setup, and you just pick what you like, I think, in that one, and you can just only offer these certain products. And obviously, you would rather have patients be prescribed them.
Yeah, then going to like Costco or Target or wherever they're getting,
Yeah. Oh, you need an omega and a multivitamin? Here you go.
Yeah. Well, that's cool. So you're international, right? You're Germany.
I'm Germany now and I was in China before.
That's awesome. So how are you able to do, like you said, the Amazon was like, all right, no, we're not.
This was a couple years ago. Like when you said Amazon influencer, I was like, I'm gonna have to go Google something after we talk because
Yeah.
it was just a store. It was just a pure store, and for whatever reason, I don't know how I got it at this point. It's been a while, but they were like, okay, we're just kind of doing away with that aspect of this, but then they still have the affiliate or associate, like you said, whatever word it is,
Yeah.
and you can like link to any kind of product that you want. You can do like a search. Or like if you recommended a book, I can just do the thing. They put my code in there and it spits out some HTML so that in my WordPress, all you see is this highlighted blue, but Amazon is able to track everything if they click it. And there's lots of other stuff I just don't really utilize as much as I could, but it still works. It's still working just fine. So it's just a little bit different than what it was before. Like I just don't have like a storefront. So yeah. Whatever. Like the t-shirt.
I'll have to check it out.
Yeah. Like the t-shirts I sell, like you have a storefront and then you put your designs and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, Amazon just got rid of that part of it and you just have your shirts or your products or whatever. So I don't know. It's all good. I can still track it. So question, you got a husband, you got some childrens. What are you doing so that you can keep the love alive and not end up divorced? That's a doctor's perspective question.
What a great question. So my husband and I are very much like Netflix and chill kind of people. We have been crushing through Tiger King. We got through TigerKing and Ozarks and
Ozarks.
That it's so hard. Yeah. So we don't get a whole. For many years, it's been, between, he's been a resident physician for 2 years and then 4 years attending physician for 2 years, a resident physician for 4 years. We were in medical school. I was with him and just our relationship has evolved so much over the years, and especially with kids now, and especially now that I am homeschooling them. We're home all the time together. We don't get our, little breaks that we all had. So it's been hard. I'm not going to lie. And he's also like working in the emergency department on the front lines of COVID. So, being intimate, like he comes home, like sanitize, like throw the stuff in the wash. It's just, it's a very interesting phase we're in right now. But
because some families are saying, you stay away. You stay and live in a hotel until this thing's over with. Like they're so scared.
Yeah, we've got a Dr. Wives Facebook group in Rochester here, and one of the other wives was like rounding people with like mobile homes, like where can we put our physicians that have kids, because it's a real thing, Mm-hmm. You don't know what they're tracking through the hospital and then bringing home on the shoes and the.
Well, in general, I would be always so nervous with an ER type of doctor, like you don't have no idea what could be coming through the doors.
My kids are never sick. I support the wellness end of our family, and I've got, we do our immune stuff. We do a lot of prevention. We try to stay active and drink water and do all the right things to, just be healthy. And in general, I mean, we all are so thankful for that, because with everything and going on, but so keeping the love alive. I mean, it's definitely still very alive.
Okay.
It's hard though. It's hard.
Pre-COVID, are y'all able to take? Man, you're such a weird situation because we've all been there. I think. Well, maybe not everybody wasn't married during these times, but there is no free time to take vacation. when you're in school and working, and then your husband's doing residencies and things, like you really don't have a normal life anymore. So how were you able to get away and just take time for yourselves?
I mean, we never even had a formal honeymoon. Honestly, we'd try to do, my in-laws, bless them, would give us the opportunity. They'd take the kids and we'd do little, weekend trips in the US to cities we'd want to visit where it would just be the two of us. Fortunately, this year, my husband was working a lot at the beginning of the year, and he was like, we got to do a vacation. I'm going to plan a cruise. We got to get out of here. And he was like, should we do February or April? Because the kids get 2 breaks. And I was like, February. I cannot wait till April. Thank God we did that.
You got to go.
Yeah, we got out of town just before all this happened, and it was just so important for our family. And
Where do y'all go from that area of the country on a cruise? To like Nova Scotia?
no, we went on a Caribbean cruise.
Okay.
We were on the Harmony of the Seas. It's like the biggest cruise ship in the world right now. And yeah, it's like so. I highly recommend. Check it out when all this is over, because we just had a blast as a family. But
okay, because there are cruises that come out of New York. I think that's why I was curious. I didn't know if people just sort of go to there and then go from, like I said, Canada or something. Chill.
Yeah, no, we spent $1 million to fly a family of 4 down there first, and then
yeah. My parents were supposed to go to Alaska in the summer. The cruise ship finally actually said, "Hey, look, we can credit your account, and I think they'll honor the price or whatever. They won't go higher, but it could go lower like later on, or we can just give you back your money." And so I was like, that's amazing that they even gave you that opportunity.
Yeah.
So any books, podcasts, etc., that you would recommend to other guests?
Yes. So I have a book that I highly recommend. I read it about 2 years ago and, dog-eared it again last year. It's called Profit First by Mike Michalowicz. It had been recommended to me by several doctors, a bunch of different chiropractic groups as well. But when I started my practice, I wanted to be able to implement Profit First so that I knew in my business, when I had my whole separate bank account, that I was able to make a profit. And I mean, within months I did. So it worked. It's great. It's super easy to apply, pretty quick read. But it's nice knowing that you have like some control of your money and that, at the end of the day, it's all worth it because you have a few pennies to throw to yourself at the end.
Isn't it kind of like, I want to say like a reverse envelope system from like Dave Ramsey, where it's, instead of going to expenses, it's percentages go to different things. So you always have money everywheres.
Yeah. And like I mentioned before, I'm not a numbers person. I'm so it's so difficult for me to, wrap my head around these percentages in this, but I have my bank account, my banker. I just love him. He just moved actually out of state, but I love him. He got me all set up with my 7 bank accounts that I wanted for my business. And it just, every 2 weeks I just transfer money and I have money to pay my taxes, my student loans, money for myself, money for a rainy day, my operating expenses. I know when I'm within my limits because, when you just see that one number, it's hard to say, oh, well, how much of that can I spend? Should I spend? So it's been really helpful for me on the business end because I'm a healer, I'm a chiropractor, but the business part of owning a practice, I'm not going to lie, has been a lot of work for me. So that made one aspect really easy. I've been working on currently Good to Great, by Jim Collins. And then on deck, I have the 12-week year. Oh, I'm also reading this too, how to do your taxes. That's not very helpful.
Just pay somebody. Come on.
Oh my God. I can't even tell you, Justin, how many accountants I've met with and everyone's told me something different. So I'm still trying to do it myself and it's not working either.
I don't know if my accountant listens to my show, but every year I submit my stuff like early February.
Put them in the show notes.
It's like 3 or 4 days before they're all due, and I finally get them back, and I'm like, what took so long? And this year was like a day before, and I was like, hey, where's my stuff? And I guess she was in panic mode. She's like, oh, crap, I never got it. I was like, what?
Oh, no.
So I don't know if my invoice was 0 and I don't have to pay this year, or if it was just like, your invoice is coming. But either way, I was like, that sounds great.
Oh, my God.
Last minute and no payment. We might edit this out. I don't know. Now, look, before we let you go, we're just sort of having this casual conversation, learning more about things. I think we've gotten some really good points and some nuggets of gold from you today. If I'm not mistaken, I went on your website. You've got like coloring book downloads and all kinds of stuff like that. Was that you?
Oh, that might be on my link tree.
Yes.
On my Instagram. Yeah. Like I love freebies. So I try to offer as many freebies and giveaways and fun stuff to my following and my patients as possible.
Yeah. So random self-plug, me and my buddy, we're doing a coloring book for kids. It's going to be like a
awesome
trilingual animal like animals you wouldn't normally see. So we're just having fun with it. When I saw that, I was like, oh, this is fantastic. Look at this.
Yeah,
and it's all like
share it with me once you get it all.
Seasonal and everything. So I was like, oh, that's great. Somebody's really putting in the hard work. I figured you got that from some membership that you were a part of.
Oh no, that is, what is it? Well aligned. Well, they do that every couple months, and you can enter to win a pediatric chiropractic table. So I hopefully they pick me this time. I want Ellie the elephant. If that that's any.
You have to tag them in your Instagram post. I was featured. If you know, come on, I mentioned you.
I know.
That's perfect. Well, how can people get in touch with you, find out more information, and all that jazz?
Yeah, so I hang out on Instagram a ton. My tag is at Dr. Bethany Buryta DC. So I know it's redundant, but I just wanted to be clear that I was a doctor of chiropractic. So
legally,
Dr. Bethany Buryta DC. What'd you say?
Legally, certain states make you say that, so it's fine.
Right. And then my website, where you can find all of this information, the online dispensary, the Amazon, all that stuff, that is rockhousecallchiro.com. So rock is in like Rochester, rockhousecallchiro.com. I'm on Facebook too. So Bethany Buryta DC is how you could, DM me, send me a message. I love to network, love to connect and engage. You can find me on Facebook too at rochesterhousecallchiropractic.com, and should be able to find my email through any one of those, Dr. B at rockhousecallchiro.com.
It'll all be in the show notes.
Perfect. Love it.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for being on the show and sharing so much information.
I love it. Thank you so much, Doc. You're doing such great work, and I'm so grateful to, have connected with you today, and hopefully this will benefit someone.
Watch out. I'm going to start blushing over here. Another great interview has ended. While you're on your phone, click that review button. Write up a nice review for me. 5 stars if you could. As everyone says in the industry, it'll help other people to find us when we have enough rankings. Not to mention, I'll mention you and your review on an upcoming episode. If you follow me at all on Instagram, you only get one link. So I use a Linktree. And so it's a doctorsperspective.net/links with an S. And that's going to give you everything you need to know. The top episodes of 2017 and 2018, the podiatry series, dentist, acupuncture series, holiday 2017, financial series, how to write a review, how to support the show, like buying a cup of coffee, getting swag, like t-shirts, the Today's Choices, Tomorrow's Health book. That's the blueprints for better health, exercise, picking food correctly, and financial. And then, of course, bundle packs, which can get you the No Needle Acupuncture book for 40 common conditions, including the electric acupuncture pin at a great deal. The resources page has some of the products that I like. It's affiliate style, so if you buy something from them, I get a piece of that. Just like on the show notes pages, if you buy a book from clicking that link, I get a small piece of that as well. So I really appreciate that. Things like Screencast-O-Matic, Pure VPN, Missing Letter, JLab speakers, ProLone Edge or Hawk grips. Once again, if you do need any coaching on how to improve some of your blood work, drop weight, and the ProLone diet, fast mimicking diet, 5-day plan, let me know. As well as if you just need some coaching, whether it's health, whether it's marketing, whether you need some practice growth, etc. Reach out. Facebook, Justin Trosclair, MCC. Of course, at a doctorsperspective.net on the top right, you got all the social media icons that you can imagine. Click your favorite and reach out. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please tell a friend, pass it along. You can go to .net/listen. It's just that easy. It'll open up right in your app. And don't forget, I appreciate you. Listen, critically think, and integrate. See you on the mini-sodes. Hope you're enjoying those. I'm definitely having fun summarizing these podcasts in less than 10 minutes for you. You get the nuggets without having to waste your time. Have a great week. We just went #behind the curtain. I hope you will listen and integrate what some of these guests have said. By all means, please share across your social media, write a review, and if you go to the show notes page, you can find all the references for today's guest. You've been listening to Dr. Justin Trosclair, giving you a doctor's perspective.